words in C. For example, I've used int here, right? I've used main here, I've used printf here, I've used return here. So these are reserved words that we can't use them, right? So you cannot use them as your variable name. In fact, C actually have 32 of them. So you can imagine C have 32 keywords, but these 32 keywords can be used to build a whole operating system. So some examples, as I've mentioned, you have int, you have float, you have main, you have default size of, and so many others. Now, what are identifiers, right? Identifiers are just names that are used to identify variables. So these are names used to identify variables, right? So identify variables. So for example, it's variables. It can also be for functions, right? And even for arrays. Yes, that's good. And more, right? So the list can just continue upward. Okay, so now while naming variables, there are some rules that we must follow. The first is that it must begins with a letter. So the letter can be A to Z or A to Z, or we have the underscore. Right, so you have the A to Z, or underscore, capital A to Z. So I can do something like int age to be 34, char gender is male, for example. So I am beginning with a letter. I can simply put capital G like that. Right, so that's what we're saying. So it can contain just letters, numbers, and it can contain just letters, right, from A to Z. It can contain the underscore, and it can also contains numbers from 0 to 9. So we can have numbers from 0 to 9. Then that's the second rule. The third rule is that it cannot be a keyword. So I cannot do like int or printf, right, equals to 3, because printf is a keyword. So if I just try to compile this, right, if I try to compile this, I'll get an error there, right? So I just try to compile it, it will give me an error because I cannot do that. So, and keywords also are case sensitive, right? See, so right, so they're case sensitive, so I cannot come back and I say that, okay, print me %d, age, right? If I do something like this and I want to compile and run, it tells me that there's a problem here at age, right? So we do not know this age that you're saying on the undeclared age. So maybe you're meaning this small age that you have defined there, right? So it's case sensitive. So, and we should not allow special characters, like, so we cannot do things like I cannot do something like this, right? Or I cannot do something like this while naming my variable. So if I do this, right, let's look at what happened. So I'm building and running at the same time. So it tells me that stray, if you look here, you see it says a stray hash in the program, right? Just like a stray bullet. It's very funny. It's a stray. Okay, so basically that is it, right? This is what you have to know. Now we'll now look at what are variables, right? So I will go to the next line, which is variables, right? Variables. So what is a variable? So a variable is just a name memory location used to store data that can change during the program execution. So it's a name memory location that we use to store data that can change during program execution. So for example, I've defined integer age here, so I'm just going to do this, right, so that I don't have an error, right? So I will just do this. I can do int age again to be 25, right? So what happened is, this is what we're saying, that we're just giving creating a space in memory to store a space in memory to store the age of something. So I can do that. I can do float, temperature is 36.5, right? And I've already used char there, right? So I've already used char here, so it's fine. Okay, so we also have what are known as constants, right? So sometimes you want to declare variables, values that you don't want them to change. So I want these are values that do not change during the program execution. So during program execution, so they remain constant, right? So for example, I want to define pi, right, to be 3.14. But now we have what are known as literal constants. Now literal constants are directly used values like you have 10, you have a, you have 3.1, right? These are literally used constants. Then you have constant keywords. Now you can define a constant using the def the hashtag def keyword, right, which I've used here, right? So and then you can also use the const keyword. You can also use the const keyword. For example, const max strength should be like 100. So I can do this, right? So that is how we define constants. Then for data types, right? So I said I'm going to talk about data types also. So I'm going to talk about data types, right? Now, basically, there are several data types that are provided in C. Now, the data types is just the type of a data, definitely, right? So, for example, I want to store somebody's name. What is the type? The type will be a strings of characters. I want to store somebody's age. Age would be an integer. I want to store somebody's salary, or I want to store somebody's height. The height will be a floating point number, right? So basically that is what we're saying, right? So when we talk of data types, that is what we mean. Then we have what are also known, when we talk about data types, we have what is known as modifiers for data types. So these modifiers can be short, it can be long, it can be sign, it can be unsigned, right? Now, for example, I can say that unsigned int age to be 25, for example. I can say long int salary to be 50,000 or 500,000. Now, in subsequent video, we're going to work on a lot on data types, right? Now, another thing that is important that we note is, let me see, I can compile and run. Everything should be fine. Int age again. What are they saying this time? That I've already declared age, right? So I'm redefining age. So I can do this to just change the values, right? And everything will be fine. So now, since I'm still doing the same thing again with age here. I think I have a lot of age today in my vocabulary. Okay, so we have just one print statement up, so that's why we're printing that. Okay, so I think this video is long enough, so we're going to go to the next video, which is going to be character encoding. So guys, we're going to stop this video now, and we're going to look at the next video that will be character encoding. And since we've learned about data types, and we'll look at character encoding and data